And now to a live look at Sierra at Tahoe Road on US 50. Doesn't look very much like the final couple days of winter up there. It is very sunny right now. It is very warm, highs in those mid to upper 70s. So yeah, that record-breaking heat still around.
Looks like somebody may have run out of diesel because of the high price of it.
I thought maybe they were taking the chains off. Wrong time of year?
If you got chains on today, you're going to get a ticket for messing up that road. All right, Brenden, we'll visit again.
And the Federal Reserve announced this afternoon that interest rates will stay the same as the war in the Middle East muddies the path forward.
It all comes as many Americans face rising prices and mounting credit card debt. With more on today's decision by the feds, here's ABC's Rena Roy.
On our website, abc10.com, just search this story under the Dollars and Cents tab.
And we know this is a busy time for tax filers. You know, I know everybody loves learning about taxes, but what can people do to get some answers to their questions?
Yeah, a question about a question. I love it. It's a really busy time indeed, and the crunch really is on.
An extreme heat warning has been issued for Los Angeles as the West bakes in an early season, mid-March heat wave. Never before seen for this time of the year. Extreme heat warnings and heat advisories in effect for millions from San Francisco to Phoenix and are likely to expand eastward. This as other parts of the country recover from brutal cold and damaging winds. So a very mixed bag depending on where you are.
What is going on is my question to the weather guy here.
Well, out here, the heat, and it's just high pressure, very stable. But because we have such a strong high pressure here over the west, it's opening that storm door for places way off to the east coast, getting the cold and the snow, some severe weather, wind. But I mean, here, like I said, things are just very quiet and hot. 87 is where we're at right now in Sacramento, 89 in Elk Grove, 89 Stockton, 86 in Vacaville, 86 in Fairfield, 91 in Manteca, 89 Modesto, 82 in Placerville, 77 in Truckee, and 75 in Tahoe. We'll wait for that official high temperature to come out for Sacramento, but we have certainly already beat that record high, the previous record high, 82. Whatever we end up being today, warmer than that. The next couple days, I've got highs in the low 90s, which will easily set new daily high temperature records. 87 in Sacramento, no wind right now, and 2 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. As we go through this evening, we're going to hold on to that heat, much like we did last night. Temperatures only in the low 70s by 10 o'clock and still in those mid to upper 60s as we head towards midnight tonight. So the peak heat is here. Thursday and Friday likely to be the warmest days of this heat wave. Morning temperatures in those mid to upper 50s, afternoon temperatures in the low 90s for the next couple of days, and there's still 3 days to go. Saturday still quite hot, still setting records, but I don't expect us to be near 90 on Saturday. 58 in Sacramento to start off Thursday morning. Again, very warm. 56 in Stockton, 58 in Modesto, 64 Placerville, 57 in Angels Camp, 36 in Truckee, and 35 in Tahoe. The normal low temperature for the valley in those middle 40s. High temperatures tomorrow. Again, the peak of the heat. 91 Sacramento, 91 in Elk Grove, 91 Stockton, 91 in Modesto, 93 in Vacaville, 92 in Fairfield, 91 up in Colusa, 85 Placerville, 87 in Sonora, 78, almost 80 degrees in Truckee tomorrow, 72 in Tahoe. The normal high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. So record highs as this high pressure sits right overhead. It starts to shift off to the east a little bit as we head into the weekend, but we're going to continue to stay warm as we go through next week. And I'm no longer tracking 70s for next week. I'm thinking we'll still be in those low 80s for next week. So it's not just us here in Northern California, also Southern California. Keep in mind, this is for the International Airport in Los Angeles. Once you go inland towards downtown LA, we're talking about temperatures 98, 99, 100 degrees the next couple of days. Denver's heat is starting to ramp up. By the time we get into the weekend, they'll be near 90 degrees, and check out Phoenix here near 105 for the next 3 days. So there's a lot of heat to be had across the west. And obviously this is bad news for the snowpack. This is where our snowpack was as a percentage of that April 1st average on March 18th of last year. The numbers in the dark blue are where we are this year. So we went from an above average or near average March last year to a well below normal March this year, and things are only going to get worse. Statewide, we're at 94% of the April 1st average this day last year. Today, 39% of that statewide April 1st average. So again, this heat not good for the snowpack. Temperatures near 90 the next couple of days. The peak of the heat is here, and it is not even spring yet. And it's also week 2 of the teacher strike at Natomas Unified. As negotiations continue, the outcry from the community is growing. One parent was arrested after staging a sit-in at district offices in support of teachers on the picket line. This happened yesterday. Sacramento police officers asked her to leave several times, but she refused, so she was arrested on trespassing charges. The parent says she arrived at the district office with her son at 9 a.m. and did not intend to leave until a deal was reached between teachers and the district. Other parents gathered at the office in solidarity. Now, the district says their offices have been closed to the public since the strike started. In a statement, they said, quote, "This individual was not authorized to be on site. All visitors are expected to follow established security protocols and respect facility guidelines." And now to continuing coverage. Plans to grow the Sacramento Zoo are on hold after city leaders pulled a key expansion vote from Tuesday's agenda. According to the Land Park Community Association, people who live near the zoo want to be able to have a seat at the table as the city council looks to approve a proposed expansion. The community wants to ensure some of the issues like speeding, traffic, and parking are addressed. The Sacramento City Council was set to review a memorandum of understanding between the city and the Sacramento Zoological Society, but that item was taken off the agenda and moved to a later meeting. Zoo visitors say if the expansion is done correctly, then they'd rather keep the location in Land Park.
We would have to redo a traffic plan to accommodate the extra parking and the impact to the surrounding neighborhoods, but I think it can be done well with proper planning.
There is no set date for when this item will be added to the agenda, but Councilmember Rick Jennings says they will try again next week. And coming up, your friendly neighborhood wall crawler is in the spotlight after the anticipated trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day released today. That and more trending stories coming up after the break. No rest for the weary. The long-awaited first look at one of the biggest movies of 2026 is finally here. The trailer for Dune Part 3 has officially dropped.
That's right. Timothée Chalamet returns with the new film reportedly picking up 17 years after the devastating events of Part 2. While plot details are being kept secret, moviegoers can expect the same sweeping visuals and epic scale that made the first two films blockbuster hits.
And the big talker today, Sony and Marvel Studios finally dropped the first trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day, and fans are celebrating. It sees Tom Holland's Peter Parker crossing paths with iconic comic book characters such as Scorpion and the Punisher, as well as Bruce Banner. Fans were also greeted to callbacks in the trailer, teasing iconic comic book moments and covers, including a callback to Amazing Fantasy 15, showing Spider-Man saving a civilian. The fourth film in the series picks up 4 years after the events of No Way Home, showing an adult Peter Parker struggling with a lonely life in New York City where no one remembers his name.
Here's a really odd story. I went to high school in Rhode Island with a gentleman named Peter Parker. Peter Parker now lives in Sacramento, and he's a realtor. So, I mean, it's like, is he the real Spider-Man?
The superhero life maybe didn't pan out for him. But you know who's the most excited about this? That would be our producer, Haley. You can tell she put a little extra into that story for us with some of the callbacks.
She's got all of that stuff on her desk, man. She's got like Spider-Man ramen.
She'll be at the midnight showing for sure.
Okay, I hope so.
Coming up after the break, an animal story that sounds straight out of a movie, the years-long journey of a missing cat, next.
All right, Chris, thank you.
Yeah, but before we go, we've got a story that sounds like it's out of one of those heartwarming animal movies.
Okay, this is Artemis right there. Artemis is a cat been missing for 5 years. That's how long she left her family in Maryland.
You probably never thought you'd see her again.
No.
Yeah, I didn't
God, no.
think so.
There's no way.
She took off in September of 2021. Her owners, Melissa and Brooke Garcia, made flyers to try and find her, but alas, they had no leads. Fast forward to now, it was a stroke of luck when a woman found Artemis in an unfinished basement, bringing her to a local Maryland Humane Society. Now, luckily, she was microchipped and is now back home after her big adventure. And you know, Artemis is maybe a good name for that cat because Artemis, the Greek god of the wilderness and wild animals.
I'm glad you did a little research on that one. That's amazing because that cat was missing in the same county for 5 years and microchipped. You would think, you know, sometimes we do the story where the cat missing in Maryland turns up in Kansas and everybody's like, how did you get to Kansas?
Right.
You know, so way to go, Artemis.
Covered every square inch of that county in Maryland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Want to see if there's anything good to eat around the neighborhood. One more quick check of the forecast here. It's hot. The peak of the heat is now. We've been in weather impact alert conditions since Sunday, and each and every day we have set a new daily high temperature record. Today is no different in those upper 80s and low 90s in the valley. Tomorrow, I expect widespread 90s in the valley, similar on Friday. You see the record highs there. Tomorrow, 81, 82 on Friday, and also the flowers there. That would be the first day of spring. So we're still in winter, not yet to spring yet, and we are talking about temperatures we normally see in the summer. Even next week when we're cooler, we're still going to be in the 80s.
All right, we're going to bring up the downtown Sacramento camera here, and I'm just looking at this and I'm feeling it's warm. Can you look at a camera and say, that's making me feel warm?
It looks like summer, right? It doesn't
really
look very
does.
wintry.
It really does. Everything bloomed so early. I have to go out with a leaf blower on our front porch so we can come and go to the driveway, and literally it's like snow every 2 hours. I got to blow that stuff off. I've never seen it like this.
I'm taking Claritin every day. That's where it is. I need those allergy meds, otherwise I'm sneezing. Everything is blooming, and it just is summer outside. It's not supposed to be summer. 4 weeks ago, maybe, we were talking about the biggest snowstorm that we've had in a year, and we had 7, 8, 9 feet of snow in the high country, and it was like, oh, miracle February. We got that snowpack headed in the right direction, and now it's kind of all for naught. It's all gone.
So you're talking about, obviously we're above average. And yesterday you had an interesting graphic. If this were the summertime and we were this far above the normal high temperature, it was like, what, $118?
117, 118, somewhere around there. That's what 24, 25 degrees above average is like. And it's hot. There's no other way to put it. It's extreme for March. We've never hit 90 in Sacramento, and yet we might.
And when are you expecting it to get back down to what it should be?
That's not in the forecast, unfortunately.
I stumped the host.
80s next week. 80s next week. That'll be better, but that's still about 15 degrees warmer than our average high of 67.
Okay, that's all interesting. Well, I know Chris and Laura are working on some of the major stories that we've been covering all day long. Obviously, the Cesar Chavez situation, we've got reaction to all that. And we've got live reporters standing by. Are going to be jumping into that as well. And you're joining me here tomorrow at 4 p.m. as well.
That's right. Back tomorrow. We'll do it again.
Sounds good. It's been enjoyable. All right, Brenden, thank you. Be sure to join us next at 5 on ABC 10 on our ABC 10 streaming app. We'll bring you the latest news and more weather. Chris Thomas, Laura Painter, and the rest of the cast of ABC 10 News coming up next.